Welcome to my channel, A Life with Melissa. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit more about my diagnosis of having hypocoiled umbilical cord. So stick around. I was diagnosed with hypocoiled umbilical cord around 20 weeks. So I went in for a 20-week anatomy scan. The scan was great. We saw the baby move. We, heard the baby's heartbeat. Everything seemed fine from what we were able to see. And then that was supposed to be my last scan. Unfortunately, we were scheduled for an additional scan because the baby would not stop moving. He kept, kicking, and we couldn't get a clear shot of his heart at that appointment. So we scheduled another follow-up appointment 4 weeks out so we can do it again and hopefully get better pictures of him. And then about 4 days later, I got a call from my midwife, and I appreciate my midwife. I had a midwife before. So let's start off with that. So this is my second child that I will be having. I have a teenager, he's 13. So it's a pretty large gap between the two. And so with him, everything was great. He came on his due date, no issues. And now this pregnancy, it's been the same, actually a little bit better if I wanted to compare the two. I'm also having another boy, and back to when my midwife connected with me, like about 4 days later, she explained to me that they were finding some abnormalities an abnormality while examining the scan. And that's the first time I've ever heard of hypocoiled umbilical cord. Never heard of it before. So I'm listening as to what in the world is that, and how did I get it, and what's going on with that? What does that mean for me? So what is hypoumbilical cord? Hypocoiled umbilical cord. What is it? So hypocoiled umbilical cord is associated with abnormalities of cord coiling. So there is a such thing of coiling type. I've seen hypercoiled. I've seen hypocoiled, looking this up. However, just to give you a visual, I don't know if everyone remembers the telephone home phones that was attached before it was wireless. It had a coiled phone cord, and it would coil really tightly. And so imagine that being a normal umbilical cord, but a hypoumbilical cord would be more straight, essentially. So it would be straight. So I never really looked at the scan. I'm not, obviously, I wouldn't know the difference. I just see a baby, I see a infant, I see a fetus. Like, I know that. And heartbeat and things like that are pretty common that you would see, and things like arms and limbs and things like that. So speaking with my midwife, there wasn't much information she was able to provide to me because she doesn't see a lot of cases of hypocoiled umbilical cord. So at this time, there's not much detail or information out there actually to provide answers to like a lot of raised questions in relation to that. Not a lot of pregnancies, I guess, experience it enough. But I have been able to like find information, and so far it's hard to tell, because it's just all over the place, really. So my midwife suggested that we went to a maternal fetal Medicine Center. Said it right the first time, because honey, I can trip over that whole thing right there all the time. So my appointment to go see that specialist was about 2 weeks after my 20-week, or 3 weeks after my 20-week appointment, because I was 23 weeks when I went to go on Friday, which was last Friday actually. So I'm 24 weeks today. 24 weeks in 1 day, actually. So when we went to our specialist, we went to visit. That was from the previous video that I posted on my YouTube channel of us going to that appointment. And it was in reference to the findings of my cord being abnormal. After like a good 45-minute scan at that center, it was like 73 like pictures that she took of everything possible, I believe, that she could find. Our sonographer, actually, I'm referencing, that she can find to be able to assist us with a better reading on, or a better idea of what it is that we're looking at. So after getting our scan done, speaking with the specialist, he went over like kind of like the history of hypocoiled umbilical cord. Apparently it's been around for a very, very, very long time. And so far it's not that much information out there, because there's no like real proven studies showing whether or not it would affect the child in a certain way. For us, he's healthy. He's, you know, he's moving still. They were able to show me on my scan that the coiling is there. We have coiling there. However, the coiling stops and then it's straight and then it goes back to being coil. So it's coil at the insertion like location where the belly button would be on the baby. And then it would go from that point out to being straight. Like I seen it like literally straight. And then thereafter, and it's a really short portion of it that's straight, but thereafter it's coiled again. So I guess what we are anticipating is just that it will just be that way. And when we have the baby, depending on anything else coming up, we should be fine. Nutrients and blood is going from me to the baby. So, and he's growing, average size by now. So right now there's really not anything that they can do about it. He actually told us, don't worry, you don't even need to come back, because, you know, the baby's fine. He's going to be, there is no other indication stating otherwise. And then we had questions on like, you know, if it could be reversed. It can't. So it's gonna be this way until he's born. But there has been theories out there. It just hasn't been anything to like any proven studies to make it stick. So there's been a lot of talks about, you know, the baby coming out with Down syndrome. I've seen babies not surviving after a certain amount of weeks. And so I actually have joined a support group for pregnant women, and I haven't brought it up to them in the support group just yet. I feel like since I saw the specialist, I am now open to talk about it. I feel like I can breathe. We both can. So I really wasn't talking to anyone about it. I kind of wanted to keep it to myself, figure out what's going on, speak with the doctor, see, you know, what they say or what they find in that regard. But now that we know that the baby's healthy, the baby's good, and we don't have to like even get induced, because that was also a concern that was thrown out there just to let us know it may be the case, because that was one of the questions that I had initially with my midwife prior to seeing a specialist, like, what does that mean for the baby? And she did mention that it can, I guess the worst thing that can happen is to schedule us a little bit early to get the baby out. But outside of that, I mean, I just wanted to share, because, you know, it doesn't mean the end of the world for everyone who has probably experienced this. I've never heard of this. And I'm always like looking up things online and in reference to preparation, because it's been such a long time between my last son and now this baby. So I feel like it's a whole new world for me. A lot has changed since then. So looking, especially my boyfriend is a first-time dad. So for him, he's like, he looks up everything. So the fact that we've never seen anything like pop up in reference to a lot of talks about like umbilical cord abnormalities, other than the obvious other abnormalities like Down syndrome and spina bifida. Oh my God. I feel like this could be a way to open a conversation. Might be a lot more people than you think experience it. So if you're a person out there who has experienced it, or someone currently pregnant going through their, you know, prenatal care, and then find out that they have umbilical cord, I mean, it's always good to share information, because there's really not a lot on it. And if you would like to just add a comment about your experience being pregnant, anything that ever came up in reference to difficulties, or anyone you've known that has experienced it, maybe share like the outcome down below in the comments, and so we could talk more about it as a community, if you will. Because, you know, I have only 16 weeks left. 16 weeks left. So it'd be nice to like share information. But I'll continue if you would like to see more about like my preparation with my pregnancy. Soon we'll be preparing the nursery, and buying a couple of items that we may need. I think the only thing that we've purchased so far has been like clothes. Maybe not as much as the typical, because it's like one onesie, socks, 2 like outfits, a bowl. Like, we didn't really buy anything. I feel like I would rather wait and then at least to the shower and then go from there. So let me know how you feel about this video. I hope you liked it. And if you did, just go ahead and click the like button. Follow me for more by subscribing. And then again, leave a comment down below so we can continue this conversation a little bit further. Thanks for watching.